Our CES 2024 coverage is made possible by Thermaltake, Azus, XPG, Alphacool, CableMod, and Patriot. What's up guys, welcome back to another GGF video. I'm Stuart and we are at our final video for CES 2024, and of course behind me we're at the Alphacool suite. They have a heap of stuff to look at. They have new distro plates, they have a new chassis, they have new improved blocks. We already know their Core 1 block performs very well. They have their fans and they have a very special monoblock which we'll go and check out. So let's see what they have on offer. Now we all know Alphacool do radiators in all crazy sizes. They do 540s, 560s, the 480s, they do the monsters, they do pretty much everything you name it. But we're not talking about radiators today. We are talking about their core distro plates. And finally, someone has done a 480 distro. This is a distro plate. As you can see, you've got all your ins and outs. So off to your RAD, off to your GPU, off to your CPU, off to something else, maybe a VRM, and then off to the top radiator. So there is a lot of cooling, I wouldn't say cooling potential, but there is a lot of liquid capacity in this unit. And something like me, I love my V3000 Plus. This will go nice on the front, something like that, or on the side. It would look really cool, and it doesn't stop there. I'm just trying to see, well, I'll just work my way along. So they've already got the 360, which we've seen. I think I have used that in a build before. I've actually got, I've done a build recently in that. This one here is a 280. They have two 280s, and what's good about this is, I just saw this here, and I did mention this somewhere else in another video recently, that they also do left and right. So all their distros come in left and right. You might be wondering, well, what's the difference? Well, you can have the pump on either the left side or the right side. So this one here, the pump's on the right side, this one's on the left. So if you have your motherboard in a traditional layout, you might want your pump to be either next to your motherboard or on the other side. So you can have your tubes running straight from your motherboard across, or you can have them go over. So it just means you'll either have your cooling reservoir area here full of liquid not covered by tubing, or in this one the tubing will go over it. So it really comes down to the way you're doing it, especially in something like an inverted build where your motherboard is on the other side, which is like on this side, your motherboard's over here, then you would use maybe this one. So they give you the option to have the pump in either left or right. So if you are interested in these distro plates, make sure you keep a note on which side the pump is on. Now moving on to other sizes, they do a 420. So 420 there, which is obviously going to be a little bit wider than the 480. The 480 is going to be taller, because we all know 480 is taller than a 420. Now this one over here is a this is a 3x80. I don't know what this would be used for, but you don't have to use it in a 3x80 fan spot. You could use this anywhere you want. You could mod it, you could stick it somewhere else. I think a 3x80 would make it a 240, but we all know that's not a 240. In normal terms, we call this a 240, but all because this is 3x80, it makes 240, but it's not a traditional 240. So this wouldn't really mount in any cases, but they may have brackets for it. I haven't really seen the final retail kit, but you could really just mount this to anywhere you like, just with a simple bracket. And then we have a single 140 over here. This is pretty beefy. I can tell that's a 140 because that's a 120mm fan, and it is much bigger than that one. Now, with all these core distros, most of them, you'll notice that Alphacool has the pump on the main side. So this would go on something like a front, something like on your side, and then the pump sticks out the front. I did notice that there is one more over here, which is a different style. So as you can see, the pump is on the back. So this would go in something, say like an 011, something that is suitable to fit the D5 in the back, but you will have to be careful that some of the 011 cases, they don't allow for a D5 in the back, so you will have to be mindful of that. But then again, it may come with brackets that may bulk it out a little bit, so you can put it on like the mid plane, so the pump can go in the back chamber. Now this over here is Alphacool's first ever case. They're calling this the Apex Skeleton. Now this is made from real carbon fiber. They have carbon fiber on all these tubes here, and then a little bit on the bottom here. Now this chassis does come flat packed. You do have to build it yourself, and it is quite modular. Now there are two revisions of this chassis. There's one with a distro plate, and it comes with a vertical GPU holder, and then there is one that comes without the distro plate and without the vertical GPU holder. Now pricing, you're looking at about 500 euros for the one without the extra options, the distro and the vertical GPU, and then with everything, you're looking at roughly 900 €100 for that. So I want to know your thoughts. Is this something for you guys that you're interested in? This carbon fiber, there's quite a lot of it. I did take one of the side panels off because it was quite tinted. You would have just getting the glare bouncing back from me. Some other features, it looks like we have 360 radiator support up the top, and then we have 360 on the front there. And then that's pretty much it. Motherboard support does look, I would say that looks a little bit small. It looks like standard ATX, but you can utilize more because it is an open frame case. So you can pretty much do what you want and go from there. Taking a look at some blocks from Alphacool now. We have the standard CPU block over here. Then we have some mono blocks and then some RAM blocks. So starting over here, this is the Apex One. So recently Alphacool launched their Core One, very, very high performing CPU blocks. Now, they've taken it a step further. I can't show you the internals because this is a very, very secret design. They're actually going to patent this because they have changed around that internal design, played around with it a bit, and the performance is even better on the Apex One than on the Core One. That internal jet plate has been changed and they say it works really, really good. And they've gained a few degrees even more on the Core One. That is even out. And then this will of course come in different colors. It has RGB. I can't show you the RGB lit up now. I'll get some close-up shots of the actual block, but there are some little slits. I actually do like I wouldn't say it's too much of aggressive styling. It is still nice and square, but it does have sort of the ripples at the top, and the RGB shines through at the top, through at the bottom, and then on the side as well. And this is a nice heavy block, and this will support, I think all of their support blocks will support the upcoming Intel 1851 socket, and then you've also got your AM5 as well. Now moving on to their mono blocks. Now this is the Apex One mono block. Now this thing is a beast. There's also another special mono block I want to show you a little bit later on, but this, once again, very similar flow design, and they've actually shifted the AM5 mounting down a bit for slightly better performance. And then I believe this is probably to match it with the I/O cover. Now this one's for Aorus Gigabyte, but I think the guy said there's something like 30 of these coming out to support multiple boards, because you have Asus, you have Aorus, you have MSI and so on. So there's gonna have to be a lot of mono blocks for all those different boards. And the aesthetic of this, I think it's really nice. If they come out with something like silver as well, that would also be a nice touch as well. And then lastly, we have some memory blocks. Want to know, do you guys still use memory blocks? Is that still a thing? I think most guys use these type of blocks just to add a bit of a aesthetic to the build, something a little bit different. But then again, I guess with DDR5 running up at like the 8000 and stuff, you do want to keep that nice and cool. So it's always good having the option to have those RAM blocks, and then they come in the silver and black as well. Taking a look at some fans from Alphacool. These are highly anticipated Apex Stealth fan. These ones, I believe, have just hit the market. I think the reviewers have had them. I'm not sure how many of the public have got their hands on these, but the whole surround of these is metal. So we have a bit of a white gloss. I might ask to see if they're going to do a matte white, because I really do like my matte colors. We have a nice glossy gold. That'll definitely go well with some gold fittings. Then of course the silver, of course that'll match chrome nicely. And then back here we have the RGB models. I'm not sure if they're going to bring out the RGB in all of them, but the only one we're missing here is the full black with the non-RGB. And some of the specs of these is up to 3000 RPM. And I do believe that these are going to be coming out in 140mm standard. Now I do have a build here that I have used the full black one. It's not here at this little display, but it's still got the black blade, and then it has the matte black on the sides. And that is a really nice fan. If you're doing a stealthy build, that does work well with that. And then you also got the chrome option, which would probably be my second favorite. I do a lot of chrome builds, and this will just complement it nicely, because this is like a mirror finish and it just looks really nice. Now this here is really special. This is a monoblock design specifically for the Z790. This is the Hero EVA 2.0. Now I'll get this out there. This is heavy, and just look at that. I'll get some B-roll up close. This monoblock matches perfectly. You can just see that. Just get a look at that. Now for any of you lucky guys who actually managed to snag one of these boards, this block will be coming out. It's not going to be like limited, super limited edition. You should be able to get this. They are going in production soon, so they will be coming out. It's not just like a prototype saying, hey, this is what we can do, no one can get it. It will be coming out along with all their other mono blocks as well. Now this also has the Gen 5 SSD cooling, so you'll keep that Gen 5 SSD nice and cool. To me, I'm still about 50-50 on water cooling your SSDs, especially when it comes to a mono block. If you have a faulty drive, that's pretty rare, but if you want to change the drive for any reason, you have to rip off this whole block to access that SSD. So that's the only downside by that. But then again, the upside, it will keep that SSD nice and cool. But yeah, pretty much that's all there is to talk about this one. The RGB will light up obviously through these plexi top covers here because they are cut out, and then we have this nice chrome finish, and they match that red really well. And then of course you have your in and your out, and that is it. Alrighty guys, that's pretty much it for our Alphacool coverage at CES 2024. We looked at all of these distro plates. We looked at the new blocks, the new chassis. I'm sure I'll probably get that chassis too. I'm not sure if I'll do a review because it's kind of very niche. Definitely do a sick build. And we have their monitor box as well. It'll be interesting to see how many boards they do support, and of course their new fans as well. I want to thank you guys for watching. Also want to thank Alphacool for sponsoring my content out here. They have been supporting me really well, and we'll see you in the next one.